Hello, welcome to Human Geography and the introductory video for how to access and navigate your online textbook. So before we can get into the tools that are built into the textbook and show you all that kind of stuff, we need to actually get into the book. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the textbook button in the class, and you can see here there's a picture of the cover and the copyright info, ISBN, all that jazz. And there's also a picture here that shows you what the course textbook landing page looks like once you actually get logged in. One thing I want to mention is that if you have multiple Hope textbooks that are using this platform, Global Geography might not be the first thing that you see. You will have a drop-down menu button over here that will allow you to switch between textbooks for your different classes. So just keep that in mind. Don't panic if you log in and it shows you a different textbook. You have the link to the textbook here, and you need to use your Holt username and password. For the most part, we've tried to make sure that your eAchieve username and password are used as your Holt username and password. Sometimes that wasn't possible, so in order to verify what your logins are for each of your online textbooks or other programs for your classes, you go to the Student Logins app, which is part of the Student Resource Center, and it'll list them all there for you. So after you do that, after you know what your Holt username and password are, you will go ahead and click on this link. This link will then take you to the sign-in page. Now, when you first log in, it may not know where you're logging in from. So you may actually see a page that looks like this that wants you to select a state. You'll scroll all the way down and select the great state of Wisconsin. And then you need to select a district. You are looking for Waukesha School District, so you need to scroll till you get to the W's, and then select Waukesha School District right here. You may also have to agree to some terms and conditions of use, the privacy policy. Go ahead and accept all of those so that you can get logged in. When I click Next, it will then take me to the page where I can type in my username and my password. And I just click Sign In. Now you can see here that it took me right to Global Geography because on this platform, Geography is the only textbook that I am enrolled in. But again, under this Discover tab, you would be able to use the drop-down menu that would show up to switch between courses and textbooks. So you'll see all of the units are listed here. If I click on Unit 1, you will see that it is giving me the 4 chapters that are a part of Unit 1. Now you'll see a little extra here because I have teacher access, so it gives me the teacher ebook, but it gives you the student ebook, right? So I can click on the student book. It's going to take a second to load here. And it is opening up Unit 1, the Basics of Geography. Now, a couple of things to note. These are basically PDF versions, interactive PDF versions of exactly what you would see if we had the hardcover textbook. So you're not missing out on anything by having the online version here. I can scroll down and see the overview of the unit. I can read the captions. You'll see I have arrows here to navigate back and forth between the pages. There are a few tools that you'll notice. Let's start with this Contents menu here. This lets you jump between things. So maybe I've already read this intro unit and all these pages here, and I'm ready to go to Chapter 1. Right? I can go to the beginning. I can jump between sections. I can take a look at the practice questions at the end, the Geography Skills Handbook. If I want to go to Section 1, again, these are the textbook pages right here. So it's interactive in the sense, too, that I can then close this contents and make this bigger. You'll notice that some of these terms are in bold. Bold vocabulary words are clickable, and you'll see that it pulls up the definition for you in both English and Spanish. And there's also a button here that lets you
Geography.
Hear audio.
The study of the distribution and interaction of...
Okay, so that audio feature is built in. You'll also notice this audio feature right here at the top of the textbook. It says Play Audio, and this essentially will read the page to you.
The 5 themes of geography. Main ideas. Geographers view the world in terms of the use.
Okay, so you can use that if you are more of an auditory learner. If you want to read along while you're listening to somebody read it, a lot of students find that to be extremely helpful. You will see here the More button. I'm going to go to that. You can zoom in or out. Sometimes I like to make the page a little bit smaller just so I can see more of it at a time. You can then adjust the page view here as well. And click that again and it disappears. You'll notice that there's a bookmark here. Okay, so I can bookmark this page. I can add notes. So if I'm taking notes in the book or I have a question about something I'm reading, this serves as like a virtual sticky note for you. So if you're reading something and you're confused, you can type your question here. It'll save it for you. And then after you've read the chapter, you can go through, compile those questions. You can bring them to the e-session, or you could ask via email and get assistance that way. If something, you figure out the answer to it later, you can just delete the bookmark when you're done. It asks you if you want to delete it. You click OK, and then it's gone. If I click on the Notes button, that shows me things that I've highlighted and things that I've written. So if I close that and I go here and let's say I'm going to highlight here, the word geography comes from the Greek word geographia, right? So I highlight this, I can pick what color I want to highlight it, and then I can add a note. I can also view it in the panel over here, and so everything that I've highlighted will start to show up over here. Okay, and you'll see that I can go ahead and continue adding notes. Once I have more, I can organize them. I can view it on the page again, right? I can close that and I can continue highlighting. I can pick a different color if I'm going to highlight by themes in my notes, whatever it may be. You don't have to add a note. You can just highlight if you want. It's all interactive that way. If you accidentally highlight something, again, you can just delete it. If I click on the review button, you'll notice that that is up there. There are some features where some teachers will use things that are built into the textbook as assessments or questions, or they'll assign things. Typically, I'm not going to do that for this class because everything that I want you guys to do assignment-wise, I have in Blackboard for you, so you can pretty much just ignore this review button. If I go back to the page, again, I can hit the arrow to turn between, and you'll see again that I can click on all these bold terms. I can go ahead and look at the images. I can try to answer the questions. Again, I can take notes along the way. If something is too small for you, again, you can go to More and hit that zoom in, right? Make it bigger, nice and huge on your screen so you don't need that eye strain. Then you can go back to actual size, and then you can keep navigating through the chapter that way. Again, contents. This takes you through all of the different chapters. You'll notice that there's also a reference section with the glossary. You have the index as well. If you are looking for something in particular, certain term, it'll show you where to find all of that. If I go back to the contents and scroll all the way up, you'll also see there's an introduction, and that's where I have the table of contents, the atlas, etc. So everything in here is really, I think, very easily understandable, accessible. It does take a little bit of kind of playing with to get used to, which is what I would encourage you to do throughout the course of week 1, so that when we start week 2 and we start really digging into the book and using the chapters, you feel pretty familiar with it and ready to go. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.